Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre here, and welcome to another Saturday in Spinning number 60, where I'll show you the albums and CDs that I listened to this week, talk a little bit about each one, and then at the end, I will tell you which ones I like the most this week. I like them all, but a few of them I like the most, and we'll get there. Before we do, go down and hit that like button. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, so yeah, please go down there. You can always take your subscription away if you don't like it if in the future. But anyway, subscribe to help the channel grow. Put some comments down there. Do you like these albums if you have them? If not, what did you listen to this week? So here we go. First album I listened to this week was a pickup from Whatnot, and it was the 1975 Steely Dan album, Katie Lied. This was the fourth studio album by the American rock band. It was the first album the group made after they stopped touring, as well as the first to feature backing vocals by Michael McDonald. In the US, the album peaked at number 13 on the Billboard's top LPs and tape chart. I like the songs on here, but I wasn't too happy with the background noise in between songs, and definitely not happy with the cover. But you know, it gets what you got. Sometimes on Whatnot, the cover has splits all around. You know, there's all kinds of splits on it. And then we do have an inner, which is in pretty good shape. So what I do is I'm going to keep this in my collection, but I'm going to target it for an upgrade if I run across one. I'm not going to be doing a deep hunt or paying a lot of money for it, but an upgrade for the music and the cover. As you can see, there's not a lot. There's a whole bunch of little marks and that on here. The album did not skip, but the background noise, you know. And then again, if you own one, what do you think about the ultrasonic cleaners, especially the one that's come out recently, which is low in cost from Devor, Devor? I don't know. I use the Spin Clean. It does a pretty good job on them. I saw one video where the guy says that for the price difference, there wasn't that much difference. He didn't gain all that much between Spin Clean and the Devor one. I don't know. Let me go. Let me know. I'm still at this cleaning stuff, still pretty newbie. So that was Katie Lied by Steely Dan in 1975. Now we're going to jump all the way to 2024. I had this one on my list since it very first came out in 2024. So I picked it up with one of my Christmas gift cards. Happiness Bastards. Was able to save the hide sticker, and I put it on top of this protection. This is from the Black Crows. This is their first new album in 15 years. Wow. It's a 9th studio album by the American rock band. I thought this was it is. It's some good old rock and roll. That's what I liked about it. Trust us. Never trust us. Whatever that's supposed to be meaning, I have don't have the foggiest idea. Then I think we do have an inner in here. The album received the nomination for the Best Rock Album at the 67th Annual Grammy Awards. In the US, it ranked in the top 100 and also in top 110 country charts. Good stuff. Glad to hear it back. Okay. Let's take a look at see if what they did with the album. And as you can see, label. Side 2 is a little different. It's pretty cool labels there. So, that was kind of nice. I enjoyed this. I had heard a lot of reviews about it. I had it on my list ever since it came out. But I just recently picked it up with, like I said, with Christmas gift cards. So that was the 2024 release of Happiness Bastards by the Black Crowes, their first new album in 15 years. Welcome back. Okay, the next one was a Whatnot pickup, and it was a 1971 album with Jimi Hendrix music, The Cry of Love. As you can see, a lot of wear and tear on there, ring wear on there. So, you know, best I could give this would be like a VG on there. There's no splits in it. Oh yeah, there is splits. Unless it's a, no, it's a gatefold. All right. This was the first posthumous album of music by the American rock singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Released in 71, 6 months after his death on September 18th, 1970, in the United States and track records in the United Kingdom. The Cry of Love was successful on the record charts in both countries. The album entered the Billboard's Top LPs chart in the U.S. at number 17 on March 16th and eventually reached number 3. There is no inner with this one, but I'm glad I got it into the collection. Good. The music was fine. For 71. So that's 24, 26, no, 29. So this is 54 years old. Wow. This is in really good shape for that age, as you can see. You don't see any damages on there. Till I almost dropped it there. Well, there we are. The Cry of Love. Jimi Hendrix movie, released in 1971, 6 months after he passed away. Way too early. Way too early. Great music. Now the next one is a 2023. We're doing jumping decades like today, aren't we? This is a 2023. It's a reissue, okay? When it first came out, I says, no, I am not going to get this because I have the original that was released in 1971, which I still have. And this was the Beatles' Red album, released in 2023. But the more I heard about things and the more I read about things, and finally after about 6 months, in early 2024, sometime in the beginning of the first 3 or 4 months of 2024, I pulled the plug on this and the Blue album. Why this is more I read about it, is remastered. It's on 3 LPs. I'll read what it says. 12 extra tracks featuring many new mixes. There's the hype sticker. So I was doing work around the house when I listened to these 3 albums that day, and my goodness, I forgot how many really good songs the Beatles put out in their early years. This is 1962 to 1966. It was originally released in 71, which I got, and I'll be keeping them. It's the originals. It's also known as the Red Album, compilation of songs by the Beatles. Released with its counterpart, the Blue Album, in 1973. The double LP peaked at number 3 in the UK. In the US, it topped it there. The deluxe expanded version of the album was released on November 10th, 2023, containing new mixes and a majority of the tracks and additional tracks not previously included. I know. So on each one of the albums has this type of a cover with the lyrics on it. A red, that's appropriate, isn't it, folks? And then this is the side 5 and 6. And this is on a red album. Which also makes it kind of neat. Pretty good stuff. That's something. I'm going to try to bring something up here on. Should have brought it up ahead of time. Well, I had originally found a whole bunch of stuff I was going to read for you, but I cannot find it now. So, anyway. So that was it. I can't find it right now. So sorry about that, gang. I was going to read you some of that stuff. So, I don't know if I'm going to put these into those protective covers that I got or not, because I don't think it's going to get played all of that much. But all three of the albums are like this. So that was pretty cool. This was the 2023 reissue of the Red Album by the Beatles from 1971. Okay. Now it was time to go into the CDs. We had a good week for the two CDs. The first one that I listened to was number 62. And it's the 1989 album Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt. Now, I like Bonnie Raitt, and I really did like this album a lot. Okay, and when I did some research on it, I said it was the 10th studio album by Bonnie. And it was a commercial breakthrough after years of personal and professional struggles. Nick of Time topped the Billboard's 200 chart, selling 5 million copies and winning 3 Grammys, including Album of the Year. So after I listened to it and I liked it, I says, wow. And I started doing some research on it. I says, no wonder I liked it. So a lot of other people did too. Not a lot of information on here. Many of the songs on here, as I found out, were dealing with personal issues in her life that she was struggling with at the time. For example, I was going to say, Raitt, almost 40 years old when Nick of Time was released, and the album's title track is about coming to terms with middle age. Pretty cool. I can remember when I turned 40. I was 86, so I was in my first 6 months of retiring from the Air Force at that time. So there we are, the 1989 album by Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time, Grammy winner of the Album of the Year. So then we moved right on to some more good blues and rock with In Step, the 1989 album by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. It's the 4th studio album by Stevie Ray and Double Trouble. It says the title "In Step" can be seen as referring to Vaughn's newfound sobriety following years of drug and alcohol use that eventually led Vaughn into rehabilitation. It was also Vaughn's final album with Double Trouble and the last album to be released in his lifetime. At the 32nd Annual Grammy Awards in 1990, the album won Grammy for Best Contemporary Blues Recording. So the CDs listening to this week are really rocking nice, kicking butt. And a picture of the boys. I always like Stevie Ray Vaughan. I do have the other one album that he released after with his brother Jimmy called Family. I think it's called Family Affair or something like that. I have several things in my collection from Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimmy Vaughan. So that was the second CD of the week, In Step, by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble from 1989. Okay, now it came to the time of the week where we always pull out the next album and that's already in the collection. Those first ones it entered into the collection. And this was a 1976 album by another rockin' band, the Best of the Doobie Brothers. This was their first greatest hits album with songs from their first two albums. Reached number 5 on the U.S. Billboard chart and the top 50 in 3 other countries. This is also referred to sometimes as Listen to the Music, but the album's the Best of the Doobies. That's how I researched it, and that's what came up. And we did have a little, we had an inner with it. Whereas, got a picture there. And on the back, we just got some advertisement for Warner Brothers Reprise Leaders. Okay, yeah, this one was rocking. Can you remember these? China Grove, Taking It to the Streets, Listen to the Music, Blackwater. Really good stuff. I'll show you that picture of the boys again. Doobies were formed in 1970 and to date are still on their 50th anniversary tour. They were inducted into the Hall of Fame in COVID year 2020. So they lost a lot of the of the celebration of having the big show and everything, but they're in there. Don't remember if I remember seeing them when I visited there a year or so ago. And I do have not on that side. This little music played pretty well for an old album. So that was the final one of the week. The Doobie Brothers 1976 album, The Best of the Doobies, sometimes called Listen to the Music. Well, what did I like the most this week? I liked a lot of stuff this week. This was a hard decision this week. But I'm really got to go with the Beatles' Red Album, the 2023 release. Sounded so good, and all the music, and the 12 new tracks on there. And like I said, I could not believe I forgot how many songs the Beatles put out. Really, really good stuff. So if you've been on the fence about that, I think the 2023 reissues are well worth the money edition. Then the second one for the week is, surprisingly enough, Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt. Boy, that was a really, really good album, and it's no wonder that it won Album of the Year that year. It is really good. And of course, Bonnie with her I call it blues, rock and blues, and that is pretty cool. So put some comments down there. Let me know what you think. SoCalSabre saying take care of yourselves out there. See you next Saturday. Be kind to each other. Stay safe.